So you want to do that? Whoa, not so fast. There are some steps to go through before being able to do that. In this video, I'm giving you 5 steps and 5 very important steps to becoming a wingsuit base jumper. What's up, Skydivers? It's Catherine Bernier from Skydive Vibes, sharing the passion of skydiving and helping you become better and safer skydivers. So if you're new here, consider subscribing not to miss our weekly videos all about skydiving. Before we start, anytime during the video, check down the description for the links of the source information I got to talk about wingsuit base jumping. I found it important to do this video because there's a lot of videos on YouTube and on the internet showcasing wingsuiters that are doing proximity flying, and it looks amazing, and a lot of people are actually coming into the skydiving sport because of those videos and because of the goal they have to do the exact same thing. And unfortunately, the reaction that most of us experienced skydiver have when we see a newcomer wanting to become a skydiver in order to do wingsuit base jumping, our reaction is always the same. Really? Just forget that, man, you're not there yet. Even though I used to do that myself, I realized that it's not the right way we should welcome people into our sport, right? And I think that for the love of our sport and the skydiving community, if we want it to grow and evolve in time, we need to change our reactions. The right reaction to someone who's just starting into skydiving with the goal to become a wingsuit base jumper should be, oh wow, that's a really great goal you have. It's gonna be a lot of work. There's some steps to go through before that, but it's definitely doable if you're willing to work hard. So this video is definitely for you if you want to get started into skydiving in order to become a wingsuit base jumper later, but also for us skydivers who want to know what to answer to those newcomers. So let's start. 5 steps to become a wingsuit base jumper. Step 1, you first need to learn to skydive. So yes, you need to become a skydiver by going through your first jump course, whatever it is depending on the country you're in. And you'll need to work towards getting your solo and even A license to be able to jump on your own. You'll see that just that has its set of challenges, but keep in mind your main goal and work hard through your progression. If you want to know what it's gonna look like and get some tips and tricks, simply click here for another video I made. Step 2, jump consistently and improve in order to reach the threshold of the jump number requirements of your association. As an example, the USPA requires you to have 200 jumps in the past 18 months, and it's pretty similar for the CSPA as well. You can check with your skydiving association to know if there's any differences. Waiting to wingsuit until the proper time isn't just smart in regards to safety. It will also help to keep you sane, because if you get into the sport to reach that wingsuit goal the fastest possible, you'll see that you'll have to do a lot of jumps, because the number of jump is only one thing, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a newbie anymore. And if you still have some newbie student concerns about the sport of skydiving in general, when you get into wingsuit, it's just gonna be another layer of complexity, and this can really stress you out. So make sure that not only you meet the requirements in terms of number of jumps and experience, but that's okay and even recommended if you have way more experience in the sport than this basic requirement. It's gonna make you a better wingsuit pilot, and you're gonna evolve into the wingsuit discipline way faster. Step number 3, it's now time for you to sign up for your wingsuit first jump course. You'll see that a wingsuit skydive is pretty different than a normal skydive. There is some other elements to take into consideration to keep you safe, as well as new possible malfunctions. Let me share with you some critical things that you need to consider when you're doing a wingsuit jump. First, the exits might be more challenging. Remember that you're flying this big wing. That's a lot of fabric that you need to consider. And when you're exiting, you gotta consider the blast and the fact that with all that fabric, the wind will have a way stronger effect on you. So there's many elements to consider when it's time to exit. Just keep in mind that it's gonna be a whole different story than your usual skydiving exits. Then when it's time for you to deploy, again, you got to consider that you have all that fabric and that you have a high speed forward. So this will affect the technique that you're using in order to deploy your main canopy. In brief, you gotta make sure that you slow down your forward speed and that you gather all that fabric behind you in order to pull. Once you're deployed, again, the fact that you're wearing your wingsuit can have an impact on your deployment and cause malfunctions more easily. Line twists are actually happening way more often. Your safety procedures in case of a cutaway and reserve deployment will also be affected by the fact that you're in a wingsuit. Your handles will be at the same place because the suits are designed to let them go through your suit, but still, again, if you want to do your emergency procedures, you have a lot of fabric. So there's different elements to consider. In terms of gear, wingsuiters are often jumping more docile canopy. That can help with the deployment and avoid malfunctions. And it's also a good thing if you want to get a longer bridle because you're creating a lot more burble behind you because of the suit. So having a longer bridle will make sure that your pilot chute can catch the air above you and then have enough strength to pull out your canopy. And of course there are more elements. I'm not a wingsuit coach, but that was a quick overview of what I learned when I did my own wingsuit first jump course. Of course, again, once you are a wingsuit pilot, you gotta put on a lot of experience, a lot of jumps in the sky from a plane before starting to think about base jumping. Well, now talking about base jumping, that's a whole other horse. So once you gained a lot of skydiving experience and you've started to talk with base jumping coaches and they're starting to see that you might be ready to start your base jumping course, well, it will now be time for you to do your first base first jump course. And finally, step number 5, you'll want to gain a lot of experience doing base jumps, and that without thinking about your wingsuit for now. So gain a lot of experience in base jumping. You'll see that there's less of associations and requirements and stuff like that, but you can find some great coaches and courses to learn and improve your base jumping skills. Get a lot of coaching because, as you might figure out, base jumping is a whole other story than skydiving. It's more dangerous due to the fact that you're nearer from the ground. So the keyword here is really experience, and that doesn't equate to the number of jumps you're doing. So once you'll be an experienced base jumper and an experienced wingsuit pilot, you'll be able to join those two and then perform a wingsuit base jumping. So that's it. That's how a new person in the sport or someone who's just watching wingsuit proximity flying base jumping videos can start in order to one day be able to do a wingsuit base jump. It is a lot of work. You gotta get a lot of experience. There's gonna be challenges, but it is doable. Take your time. I want you to be safe out there, and I want you to keep doing what you love, the passion you have for skydiving and base jumping, the longest possible. So now down in the description, let me know if this is why you actually became a skydiver, and let me know if you'd like to learn how to wingsuit. On that, if you want to watch other videos from Skydive Vibes, simply click here. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Give it a thumbs up. And on that, keep jumping, stay safe, and blue skies.